If you're a fan of matcha lattes like I am, then you're going to absolutely love this dessert. Imagine that same earthy, slightly sweet matcha flavor, but transformed into a delicate and creamy cake. Today, we're making a Matcha Tiramisu cake using a light and airy chiffon cake base instead of the traditional ladyfingers. This dessert is a beautiful fusion of Japanese flavors with a classic Italian twist. So let's get started by preheating your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. We're also going to line the bottom of a quarter sheet pan with parchment paper. I like to spray a tiny bit of oil at the bottom so that the parchment paper sticks to the pan. Next, we are going to carefully separate the eggs into whites and yolks, which will be the main components of the chiffon cake along with the rest of the ingredients here. In a small bowl, whisk together the matcha powder and boiling hot water until you have a smooth, vibrant green paste. The quality of matcha will determine how delicious your cake will be, so I suggest that you get the best quality matcha you can find for this recipe. Set this mixture aside to cool. Now let's move on to the egg whites. Using a stand mixer or an electric mixer, beat the egg whites until frothy. Add the cream of tartar and the sugar and continue beating until stiff peaks form. This will give our chiffon cake its signature light and airy texture, so make sure to reach the stiff peaks. Set this aside while we work on the yolks. In a separate bowl, whisk together the egg yolks and sugar until they become pale and thick. Then add the vanilla extract and the cooled matcha mixture, whisking until everything is well combined. Slowly stream in the oil while continuing to whisk. You want the mixture to become thick and creamy, so make sure to spend some time on this process, about 7 to 8 minutes. At this point, sift together the flour and baking powder, and then add it to the egg yolk mixture. On the lowest speed, mix until just combined, being careful not to overmix here as we want to keep the batter light. This should take no more than 30 seconds or so. Now the delicate part. Using a spatula, gently fold the whipped egg whites into the egg yolk mixture in 3 or 4 additions. Take your time with this step to avoid deflating the batter. As you can see, I move my spatula in this cut and fold motion, giving the bowl a quarter turn each time. Once you have your batter evenly mixed, pour it into your prepared sheet pan and spread it out evenly using a knife or offset spatula. While the cake is baking, let's prepare the matcha cream by again whisking together the matcha powder and boiling water. The ratio is a little different from the mixture that you made for the cake batter, so this is going to be a lot thicker and pastier. Next, beat the mascarpone cheese and my biggest secret weapon, melted vanilla ice cream. You might be familiar with the authentic way of making tiramisu, but here we are going to take a little shortcut and use a good quality vanilla ice cream, which essentially has the same exact ingredients as the traditional tiramisu cream, but without the hustle and raw eggs. We're also going to add the vanilla extract, powdered sugar, and the cooled matcha paste and blend it until smooth. And lastly, for the whipped cream, simply beat the heavy cream together with vanilla extract and powdered sugar until stiff peaks form. At this time, the cake should be ready to come out of the oven. It's baked all the way through if a toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean. Once the cake is completely cool, we are finally ready for my favorite part, assembly. You can cut the cake either in half to create 2 layers for a whole cake or into smaller shapes to present as individual portions. As you can see, I'm showing you 2 of my favorite ways to build this cake today. After the last whipped cream layer goes on top, chill your cake in the fridge for at least 2 hours to let all the flavors melt together. And just before serving, dust the top with a little more matcha powder for a beautiful finishing touch. And there you have it. I promise this is going to be one of the best desserts you will ever taste. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't, please make sure to subscribe for more delicious recipes and baking tips. The only thing that can make this cake better is a complimentary drink. Today, I'm pairing this with a rosé, but a glass of Prosecco or even whiskey on the rocks would be a great accompaniment. Thank you for joining me in the kitchen today. Happy baking and cheers!